Now, why are you all telling me that nothing happens in Thriller Bark? Hi everyone, welcome back to How to Train Your Gavin. In today's video, I will be starting and finishing the entire Thriller Bark saga of One Piece. The Thriller Bark saga consists of just one long arc of 48 chapters, which covers volumes 46 through 50 of the published English volumes, and it is chapters 442 to 489. And I swear, the amount of people who said nothing happens in this arc, I think you're all pulling my leg. I think you're all having an absolute laugh at me because, you know, I'm naive, I'm gullible. If you are new to my channel, I am reading One Piece for the very first time, and I am on the Thriller Bark saga, and I feel like a lot of people who watch these videos have fun with that, because the amount of times people just say things, and I think they're trolling me. I genuinely do. I've been blessed that nobody has spoiled anything for me. I genuinely have no clue what's happening after Thriller Bark. I don't even know what's happening in Thriller Bark just yet, but apparently nothing happens, and maybe nothing does happen. Maybe it is just the fact that, you know, so much happened in Water 7 and Enies Lobby that maybe this arc, compared to those, it feels like nothing really happens. I can imagine that we have maybe a bit of a cool down period after that epic saga, but at the same time, I wouldn't put it past you all to have written nothing happened, and I bet you so much happens. I've heard that this is quite a divisive saga as well, but honestly, I'm really looking forward to it because I love anything to do with ghosts, zombies, anything kind of spooky. I really do feel like I will enjoy it somewhat, and I'm not expecting Water 7, I'm not expecting Enies Lobby, I'm just expecting a good time. As always, whenever I go into One Piece, I expect a damn good time. I mean, it might make me cry, but as long as I'm having fun while doing it, then it is a good arc to me. So don't worry, I have lowered my expectations. I'm not expecting another epic saga. At this point, I'm just reading because I love the story and the characters. Oh, is Usopp a skeleton? Oh, hang on. Usopp's down there. Oh, sorry, I genuinely thought that skeleton thing was Usopp. See, this is why I don't think covers are spoilery to me, because I'm stupid. Before I continue with Thriller Bark, I do just want to mention that I have set up a dedicated One Piece channel membership on my channel. I honestly love talking about One Piece so much, and my channel encompasses so much, and I feel like I'm annoying a lot of people by talking about One Piece as much as I am, because it has literally taken over my life and my channel. So I have a dedicated One Piece channel membership. I will be doing early access to One Piece videos, One Piece live shows, just everything dedicated to One Piece will be through that. I did get a lot of comments saying that, you know, they would love to join my Patreon, but I was charging maybe a little bit too much for early access. So I decided to like just One Piece, everything One Piece in the one place for my channel membership. Hopefully what you think is considered a very low price, I made it as low as I could. I'm not going to make anything through it, of course. You know, YouTube takes so much from that. And I don't care. I just wanted a special place where I could literally put One Piece first and not feel like I am talking about it too much that everyone else is just like, ugh. And don't worry, I will still be putting One Piece videos on my channel. All of these reviews will still be coming. It's just the channel members who have taken the Gav fruit will get them usually around about 2 to 7 days early. And in the month of February, the 2 videos that I'm doing for One Piece will be 5 days early. So yeah, I just thought I would mention it now, just in case you wanted to check it out. No worries, of course, if not, everything will be coming onto my main channel in time. I was just worried I was talking about One Piece too much and everyone was getting sick of me. But I love One Piece so much, so that's not going to change. Anyway, this will be a long video most likely, so don't forget to leave a like if you enjoy and subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, now let's get spooky. What? We already have a new straw hat? No. This... First of all, Brooke seems kind of funny. I love puns, and I love it when people make sort of like dad jokes. Or should I say dead jokes? No, I'm sorry. That was bad. That was so bad. So Brooke's a skeleton. Luffy asking, do you still have to poo? I mean, come on. That is a question I would like to know. And apparently he does. The way he laughs as well, the way Brooke laughs. Yo ho ho. Yo ho ho ho. Yo ho ho ho. He sounds a... No, not exactly like Santa Claus, because Santa Claus is ho ho ho. But he's yo ho ho ho. So... that's different. But first of all, I did absolutely love seeing the Thousand Sunny on the high seas, them actually using it, the absolute stupidity of Luffy and Usopp putting a shark in the fish tank where all of their fish food is. Like, obviously the shark was going to eat it all, but they try to make the most of it. They come across a barrel that was apparently a sort of gift to the gods. It says a treasure offering to the sea god. And Zoro thinks it's booze, so he definitely wants to open it. And like, Zoro is just like me, like, but not booze. Mine would be wine. If that barrel was filled with wine, I would absolutely 100% go for it. But they open this barrel up and this flare sort of shoots up, and we find out that we are in the Florian Triangle, which was mentioned by Kokoro in the previous arc, or the one before, in Enies Lobby. And it sounded like such a terrifying place, and I was so excited to hear about it then that I'm so happy that we are actually in it now. And this is all to get to Fishman Island, which is the next island they sort of have their sights set on. But they'll have to pass through the ghost ships and everything first, and I just love it. I love how the ghost ship looks. I love how Brook looks. Look, right, so they're just passing by on this ship, right? And Brook is just sitting there, drinking a tea, I think, Binks's brew. It must be some kind of tea. And he's just sitting there, just like watching them, like, you know, just drinking his tea. And it's just like that kind of thing where they're scared and terrified looking at him. And he's just sitting there, just doing what he does best, probably, which is drink tea. If Brook is a tea drinker, I mean, I prefer coffee. But if he's just that kind of hot drink kind of gal, then I think I'm going to love him. I don't think he's joined the crew. I mean, come on. We only just got Frankie join the Straw Hats like 3 chapters ago. So this is very quick. But he does seem like a gentleman. He's described as gentleman skeleton. And it seems like he was actually scared. He was scared of them just as much as they were scared of him. Might I take a look at your panties? Imagine. What a feisty lass. That hurt me right down to the bone because I'm a skeleton. Was that supposed to be Scottish? Is Brook Scottish? I don't think so. But Luffy, asking Brook if he wants to join his crew. Absolutely. You know what, actually, I would love it. He's very different already. I don't know, he could be evil. He could actually turn out to be evil. And I did think he was Usopp, just judging from this. I don't know why. I don't know why I thought it was him. He doesn't have a long nose. In fact, he doesn't have a nose at all. But I guess, when you squint, maybe? No, that doesn't even help either. I don't know why I thought he was Usopp, but he just seems so different and I'm already so intrigued by him. It just seems so random. I'm already having such a laugh with this one. I don't know if these are in the online digital editions, but they're definitely in the printed editions. But there is a sort of, kind of, what's the word, like a floor plan or some kind of map thing to the Thousand Sunny. And this is the second one I've seen. I just find it so cool. I find it so cool. Inaru is still in the Great Voss, essentially, space, which I honestly do find so interesting. I don't have a lot to say about the cover stories just yet. I might wait until Inaru's story, which is called Inaru's Great Space Mission. I'll wait until that's done, and then maybe I might, like, you know, talk about those cover stories in general. But yeah, I'm honestly really enjoying this arc so far. I mean, I know it's only been 2 chapters and I have 46 left to go, so it could all go tits up. But like already some things happened, like quite a few things have happened so far, so you were all lying to me, and I'm not surprised. I must have a target on my back saying noob. I am a noob, so I don't blame you all. But one, it was nice to get a whole lot more backstory on Brook. I mean, I don't think we got everything. We definitely did not get everything. There are still some things about him that are so intriguing. I also love the fact that Usopp and Chopper are just so terrified of him. They have this cross thing that they keep putting up to him whenever they see him, and they find out that Brook doesn't have a reflection and he doesn't have a shadow, and they assume he's a vampire. So I love the fact that all of these terms are being used in One Piece. It does again expand the world and make me think, oh, you know, these are all creatures and beings that I love and adore in literature, and the fact that they could be possible in One Piece is just incredible. I don't know if vampires do exist in One Piece. Vampires could just be a legend in One Piece in general, but I love the idea of his shadow being taken. It definitely reminds me of Peter Pan, and when his shadow goes missing, and without his shadow he can't go in direct sunlight or he will disintegrate, and it was stolen by someone. So this someone is, I think, maybe, hopefully, in Thriller Bark, so that we can get Brook's shadow back. And we did have Luffy say, join my crew. And Brook said, okay. But Brook has said, look, I can't join your crew. If I do go around with you, I will just disintegrate if I go into direct sunlight. So It's not a good idea, but now Luffy wants to try and find the person who stole his shadow so he can help him get it back. And that's just like Luffy to do. He will hear someone's backstory, he will realize that someone is missing something or like a huge part of them, and he'll want to help. But I know what you guys said. I think I mentioned, was it Water 7 or NES Lobby, when I said, oh, but Luffy, you are a hero. And a lot of you guys said, he isn't a hero, he just kind of wants to have meat all to himself kind of thing, or something like that. You guys said something that did make a whole lot of sense, and I just can't regurgitate it all that well. But he does see an opportunity. He sees an opportunity for adventure right now, and we have arrived at Thriller Bark, which I absolutely adore the look of, because one, the gates look like teeth. They look like teeth. And then the whole Thriller Bark Island here looks very gothic. It looks very creepy and scary. And it's all the things I love and adore in stories. It has that atmosphere that I'm already eating up. There was also this weird ghost thing that appeared out of nowhere. And I think the main thing I love about Brook is just how positive he is and how upbeat he is. He does remind me of Luffy. And even Sanji says, why are you so upbeat? You're dead, or something like that. Where is the quote? Why are you so cheery? Your life sucks. And he really is. He's just like, I'm just so grateful and happy that I met friends today, that I met people today, and just gave him like a whole new lease on life already. You know, he just seems so bubbly and so, well, funny, actually. Like, I mean, some of his jokes are just like, okay, whatever. And will Brook be the third Straw Hat who had a devil fruit? Because we have Luffy, we have Robin, and now Brook. Oh, and Chopper, sorry, I totally forgot about Chopper. Chopper has a devil fruit as well. Oh my god, I see so many zombies on the cover and I'm so excited. Yeah, so fourth, Franky didn't have a devil fruit. He's just a sort of cyborg because he repaired himself. So yeah, I think he's like the fourth person with a devil fruit, and he died with his crew on that ship, and because he had that devil fruit, he wandered around for a year and then managed to find his body, and it gave him a second chance on life. But now he's a skeleton. I feel like unless something really bad happens or it gets really boring, then I don't see why I won't really enjoy this arc and give it a good rating. So I'm like Luffy in this moment. I just cannot wait to get out there and explore Thriller Bark. You know when Nami says, it's 100% my fault, but forgive me because I'm so cute? Just down in the bottom corner there. That's literally what I'm about to say to everyone right now if I ever mess up something or get something wrong, misconstrue a conversation. A bit like in post Enies Lobby, how I totally misread the Shanks and Whitebeard conversation about Ace. Forgive me because I'm so cute. Like, honestly, I just love how dark and atmospheric this is. Nami, Usopp, and Chopper have been separated from the rest of them because, oh my god, we got Mini Merry. Franky, and I don't know how much more I can love Franky, in all honesty, but he made the Mini Merry, which is sort of like a lifeboat for the ship, the Thousand Sunny, and I genuinely don't think I could love him more. I genuinely don't. I love him so much. His mind, his geniusness, his whole entire being, I just love, okay? Just having that little piece of Merry aboard the Thousand Sunny. Although now I'm a little bit worried because, yeah, Usopp, Nami, and Chopper did take the Mini Merry out, but now they've also been thrown off that lifeboat and they are on Thriller Bark. They've ran through this forest. They were chased by like a Cerberus dog, which was so totally Frankenstein-esque. And they've ended up in a tree where they meet Hilden, who looks really freaky. And he says, I can take you to the mansion of my master, Dr. Hogback. Oh, why does it seem like kind of like Dr. Frankenstein-esque? I love it. I do. I love the whole vibe of this one. On the Thousand Sunny, we have everyone else still there, and they're getting attacked by a ghost, and I forgot that, yeah, because they're a ghost here, that means that they will be attacked by invisible forces, and that makes it that much more harder for them to fight. And, I mean, it does come across as quite comical at the minute, because Sanji does get, you know, brought up into the air, and then Zoro takes the absolute mick out of him, the absolute piss out of him, because Sanji makes this sort of sound as he's being sort of attacked. I mean, I don't even know how to say it, like, Hagir? I don't know how to say it. But Zoro keeps taking the absolute piss out of him. He says, you just said Hagir? And then he even calls him Higa. Even when they're getting attacked, Zoro still finds ways to really rile Sanji up. So I love it. I'm with Robin on this one. I also love a good thrill. And I'm glad Luffy is so on board with exploring Thriller Bark, because he says Brook's part of our crew, so I have to get him back. And he's just met the guy. But it reminds me of Jaya when he met, was it Cricket? He really wants to help him, even though he's really just met him. And again, that just tie into Luffy's sense of adventure. He sees an opportunity and he takes it. And that's exactly what's happening here. I don't want to get my hopes up too much, but this is solid. This is such a solid start. There's just a slow build up of tension and not exactly horror. I wouldn't say I'm scared, but it's mixed in with quite a lot of humor that makes it just so good to watch. Read. The rise of the zombies was quite freaky, not gonna lie. I always get a little bit heart pitter pattering when I see hands come up from the ground in anything. Honestly, zombies are probably one of my most scared of creatures. Like, I'm the most scared of them, because I guess anything that looks like a human that doesn't act like a human is quite terrifying to me. And what's great as well is that these are quite fast zombies. However, they don't have any endurance, which was so funny. Literally, they're running so fast and then they're all like, oh my god, we need to take a break. And then also when one of their head comes off, you see them in the background, like, you dropped this dude, thanks bro. I think they would get on well with Frankie. They use the same kind of lingo as Frankie. See this panel right here. Oh, I love it. Oh, and I was also confused because at the start of the chapter, Chopper, Nami, and Usopp seemed quite normal and casual in the carriage with the thing that they had just met called Hilden, who was taking them to Dr. Hogback. But it actually turns out that Dr. Hogback is a famous doctor that Chopper knows. So Chopper is actually really excited to meet him. So I was like, oh, okay, that does make sense because, you know, Chopper is the doctor on the Thousand Sunny, I was about to say Go and Marry there. Of the Straw Hats, he fills the doctor role. So it's nice to say that, you know, his interests still come through. And also ties into the fact that they needed an excuse to go to this mansion. And I guess this makes the most sense. So going to Chopper, every doctor knows his name. He's a master surgeon. He saved many lives with countless miraculous surgeries. He gained all the fame and fortune a doctor can imagine. All doctors around the world look up to him. So, you know, he is known. And that does help them get to this point. But then Hilton leaves them in the carriage right outside the mansion and they're in a cemetery. And I just love this setting so much. Love it. Love the setting. Oh my god. It feels like I'm watching an all-time, you know, horror film. You know, like Night of the Living Dead meets Frankenstein. That's how I can kind of say this and picture this. Also with hints of Dracula too. Freaking love it. Love it. I need to say Brook again. Brook's kind of just disappeared and I kind of want him to help. These invisible men are perverts. Nami taking a bath and getting these shots of, well, I mean, everything's covered up with sort of this steam, I guess, from the bath and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, I can imagine a lot of people were enjoying this scene a lot. But this invisible force is like, I'm going to make you my bride to Nami. So that's quite sinister. I don't think it like has anything to do really with the bigger picture, the bigger storyline with our journey towards the One Piece or anything. But still, I mean, even if this is just like a side stop of the grand adventure, like the main plot, I'm absolutely fine with that. I feel like this just opens the world up even more, which is always something that I enjoy. Dr. Hogback, he definitely looks a sort of mix between Dr. Frankenstein and Dracula in a way. Also, Sindri is a little bit spooky. I'm getting sort of Sally from The Nightmare Before Christmas vibes from her. And she keeps throwing plates because she hates plates. And she was engaged to a wealthy man, but to test his love, she shattered 10 valuable plates from his cherished diamond set and the engagement was called off. Why would she do that? To test his love? I'm sorry, but if you come in here and say you burn 10 volumes of my One Piece collection, I would also call off the engagement. Get the fuck out my house. So she is really weird, but kind of a little bit funny as well because she puts nothing on plates. So the pudding that she makes, she just sticks it on the table. I like that. Nami has the sense to not trust Dr. Hogback, even though Chopper absolutely adores him. Because, yeah, like, he says he has no connection to the zombies. However, he is researching how to bring people back to life. And she says, how can you live in this place and not be connected to them? You know, they are so close. And it doesn't look like Thriller Bark is a big place. It doesn't look that huge, especially with the sort of map that was shown at the start of the arc where Robin was talking about their position and stuff. So yeah, it's not that big of a place. So obviously he's lying. He's hiding something. But this invisible thing that wants to make Nami its bride I'm just like, what? Oh, also Dr. Hogback says that Chopper can't look at his laboratory ever. So definitely hiding something. Not surprised though. I feel like everyone in this island will be shifty, somewhat sinister. I'm taking every character I meet with a grain of salt and garlic. Another joke. Wow, I'm just as good as Brooke. And I love that Luffy is like, do you think it tastes good to the Cerberus dogs? And I'm also a big fan of the rest of the Straw Hats getting on the island, seeing the Cerberus dog, and Robin being like, oh, how cute. And Luffy being like, I wonder if we can eat it. Zoro, cheeky little thing, isn't it? Is that thing picking a fight with us? In the Cerberus dog fox thing, actually looks scared for its life. As it should. Okay, the painting coming to life and taking Chopper, that was a scary visual. This one here, oh my god. In fact, the whole house comes to life with zombies and ghosts, and it looks like that ghost we saw on the ship briefly, that was the invisible sort of man that wanted Nami to be its bride. And it does look like Dr. Hogback wants the bounties on them, so he's assigned this ghost to collect all of the people to capture them, I guess, get them in all one place and take the bounties, maybe. I think that's their goal. I do wonder how they know about all of the bounties and stuff, because do they get the updates from the Navy, from the world government? They're in the Florian Triangle, right? And it's a place that ships don't really come out of alive. So I'm just like, how do they know about the bounties? I'm sure it'll get explained. Luffy taming the dog as well, the dog slash fox slash Cerberus thing. That was funny. When he's literally just like, I can tame it, and then he pretty much has to beat it in order for it to be like, down boy. And Luffy needs to stop asking just anyone and everyone to join the crew. Seriously. But it does look like Nami, Chopper, and Usopp, they're probably the most scared of this place, and the fact that they're the ones that are all together away from the ones that feel a bit more brave about this place is hilarious in itself. Like, you cannot pick a more scared and I guess hopeless bunch in all of this. And even though we do still get that comedy in there as well, like say when Usopp was like covering his eyes and he was like, I didn't say anything, you're going to try and make me admit that I saw you naked just so that I have to pay you. And Nami's like, what kind of person do you think I am? You're still paying though. So now Nami, Chopper, and Usopp are locked in Dr. Hogback's mansion. And they've come across, I think, Sindri's room, where she looks like a regular human. So this will have been before she became this sort of Sally-like, stitched up person. Doll thing. Is she some kind of doll now? I don't know. Again, the vibes are still impeccable. Ooh, you know how I was saying that maybe this entire saga doesn't have anything to do with the main story? We do end this chapter with a revelation that there is somebody who has left a long trail of victims, but once you defeat him, everyone will be saved. When our shadows return, I'll do everything I can to thank you. So obviously, Brook has had a run-in with this person, and this person is the one who took his shadow, and we need that back. So the person is Gecko Maria, and they are one of the 7 warlords of the sea. So it does seem like we are now fitting this into the larger narrative of what's going on in the outside world, because it does feel like Thriller Bark is its own sort of little thing. But we are now getting those connections. And you know what? I totally believed in this arc. I believe that this saga would definitely get us on track. One of my favourite moments so far, the 600 million berry jackpot, which I think is a whole group move with all of their bounties added together. And it's like, that's so cool, that's so good. 600 million berry jackpot, they stood no chance. But also the fact that the zombies are just talking normally, and they just seem like regular people in all honesty. And even Luffy keeps saying, oh, an old man with severe injuries. I know he's a zombie. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, there are a lot of people on this island who look stitched up or stitched together. And for some reason, I think it's either Gecko Maria or Dr. Hogback. And I'm leaning more towards Dr. Hogback, unless they're the same person. Because, you know, he does seem like that Dr. Frankenstein kind of character who would stitch different body parts up in order to bring something back to life. But the zombies actually seem kind of cool. It's a bit like Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. You know how, and I'm sorry if you have not seen Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, this is a bit of a spoiler, how the zombies turn out to be the good guys. It's kind of a bit like that, because they are like, no, we're sorry, we mean it. They can't tell secrets, but they do sort of help in a way. But then they do confess that they actually did attack their friends, and they end up getting put back in the ground. Another one of my absolute favourite moments. I just love when they just, you know, are about to fight someone and they are working together and they just have that sort of really cool sort of stance and they're like, okay, this is the fighting pose, we're about to do it. It's just like, yes, we'll show you the terror of us instead. And I audibly laughed out loud when Luffy put that zombie back in the ground. He's just like, boop. Those ghosty thingamabobbies as well that keep shouting negative, negative. If they touch someone, they will end up turning negative. The person they touch turns negative. And so, like, Frankie's like, everything I do sucks. I can't go on. I want to die. Luffy gets it too. And then Zoro's like, you guys are pathetic because you don't have discipline and willpower. These strange ghosts can make a fool out of you. And then literally in the next panel, I'm sorry I was born. Honestly, Thriller Bark, you guys were right. This is such a funny arc. Oh, and final thing about the chapter as well, Usopp, Nami, and Chopper are in Victoria Sindri's room, where she looked like a normal person. She used to be an actress and died 10 years before in an accident. So I do think that it's Dr. Hogback who's stitching people together, bringing them back to life, and Sindri is one of them. That's my theory so far. Let's see if I'm wrong. Oh man, there was an exclusive One Piece speed up sticker at the end of this volume that someone's already taken. I have no idea what it looks like. If anybody knows, please let me know. Oh, but whoever owned this before me took it. Like, how rude. How rude. I really wanted that sticker. I don't even know what it looks like, but I want it. I wonder if I buy a new copy of this that maybe it will come with a sticker. I don't know if any of the other reprints. This is the first printing, so I don't know if the reprints will have the sticker, but finished the volume, and that was a really good chapter again. We met quite a few new people, and we did get some more answers. And yes, it is Dr. Hogback who is creating these sort of zombies, or at least like stitching them all together, and they each have a number on them. So I think the one that we've just had there was like 741. So Dr. Hogback is bringing it to life, and then it doesn't really seem like he's controlling the zombies, because there is a different character who we saw very briefly called Absalom. Yeah, Absalom of the Graveyard, commander of the zombie soldiers and zombie generals, and they're going to put an end to the pirates. And I don't understand how they really found out about Enies Lobby. Also, Thriller Bark is a ship. So many revelations in this chapter. The Thriller Bark is an actual just big ship, which is exactly what I guess Water 7 is trying to do. But obviously it's bigger than Thriller Bark. But that's what Iceberg's trying to do with Water 7. So maybe he can learn some things from, Thriller Bark. So that was a pretty awesome revelation. Also, Moria is huge. Absolutely huge. One of the 7 warlords. And there's a midnight hunt that's about to begin. And not just that, oh my god, like so much happened. It was so cool. We also got to meet Ghost Princess Perona. And she is the commander of the wild zombies and surprise zombies. So we have zombie soldiers and zombie generals. Then we also have wild zombies and surprise zombies. So it sounds like there's going to be some kind of like zombie war coming. And there's quite a few bad guys. There's quite a few antagonists that we're about to, face. Although I guess not all of them might be bad. Some of them are probably good. There's just so much at play now. And it does feel very Nightmare Before Christmas in a way with Halloween Town. And that's like one of my favorite films. So as you can imagine, I am in my element right now. Luffy has promised the guy that he is going to look for the guy who steals shadows anyway. If he's after us, then we'll beat him up. Maybe he'll get saved on the way. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting for me. So I finished volume 46. Now we are on volume 47, which feels a little bit thicker. And yeah, we see, I think, all of the bad guys on here, I think. And then Luffy in a night costume, that's cool. He looks terrifying. I think that's Moria because he's the huge one. How can people think this is one of the worst arcs? I'll probably be eating my words by the end of this video, but still, you'll confuse me too much. Zombie night, step and turn and die, zombie night. What a tune. Number 1 in the Billboard Hot 100. I am so interested by this zombie person. I mean, firstly, he says, may I take a look at your underwear? And I'm like, does every single dead person just ask to see Nami's underwear just like it's the first thing? I mean, I'm glad he can appreciate Nami's beauty, but come on. But Dr. Hogback says that he's a completely different level than the other zombies you've encountered, so most likely a more serious one. He is a zombie general with a very special body. He harkens from the Wano country of the New World. Wano? And I know that the most recent arc to finish is called Wano. So that is absolutely incredible that we are getting the first mention of it. Although I think it's the first mention. It's might have been mentioned before, but I might have missed it. But this mention, this early on, this is what volume 47. I'm wondering if Oda has the entirety of the One Piece world mapped out. And he knew exactly where he would be going for each and every arc for 2 decades. That's what it feels like. But he does look very scary. I'm actually a little bit scared of him. And I know with like the whole zombies and, I mean, are they actually zombies? I don't know. It seems like there's something else afoot. But he scares me more. And I feel like he's definitely more serious, even though he did sound like Brook. And he is a little bit silly when we first meet him, but he does seem to be a lot more serious. And he looks like he could give Zoro a run for his money. You know, he has swords, and he says 3 pace hum, not slash. And I just think, yeah, he is most likely going to be a big foe for Zoro. Luffy and everyone have arrived at the mansion. Sanji has gone missing, and the zombie generals are awakening. Arise, ancient warriors. That is what Absalom has told them. I love his design too, with a sort of normal human body. And again, it's just like this mishmash of different things, different creatures put together. It's so jarring and otherworldly. It's great. And I feel like now that we have this midnight hunt happening and more scarier zombies coming to life, that we will probably still have the comedy and the humor, but it's starting to feel like we're going to get a little bit darker now with this arc. Okay, things have gotten freaky. Is Sanji one of those little cute penguin things now? I mean, I say cute, they're not really that cute, but they're cute by Thriller Box standards. Like, look at them. 1, 2, oh, 3. The penguin zombie duo, whoops, I mean trio, I'm the new guy. And it turns out the new guy could be Sanji, because they're getting attacked, Usopp, Nami, and Chopper. They're getting attacked by Mistress Perona's Wonder Garden. But then the penguin stops Nami from getting attacked and says, I will never kick a woman even if it kills me. And that mirrors exactly what Sanji said in Enies Lobby. That's Sanji. This is Sanji. What? Also, I realized that I say Sanji and Sanji. I keep saying R and A. I need to stop doing that. I need to stick to one. Oh, okay. We start off the chapter a little bit weird, not gonna lie. We have Absalom, and we have this huge warthog zombie thing called Lola trying to get Absalom to marry her. And then he says that he's already got himself a bride, and it's Nami. So now I'm wondering, that thing that attacked Nami in the bath, saying, oh, I will make you my bride. I said it was that ghost thing that was outside with Dr. Hogback, but I think maybe I got my wires crossed, as usual. But forgive me because I'm so cute. Oh, I am stupid. It must have been Absalom, and Absalom must have went invisible. And I thought it was that ghost that kept saying negative. But it was because, obviously, he's invisible here. This is a few chapters back. He's invisible here. I didn't realize that the speech marks were going towards the invisible, like, white space there. I genuinely, oh my god, I'm, yet again, I've misread it. So, yes, we have Absalom wanting to make Nami his bride, and I'm correcting my mistake from earlier. And we also have Perona going to the Thousand Sunny, hoping to get the treasure. I'm wondering where the hell Brook is in all of this. And, oh, maybe, actually, maybe Brook is inside the samurai. That's why he said, can I see your panties? You're such a beautiful girl. Because that's Brook. Oh my god, I've just connected the dots there. Is something taking the consciousness of, like, Sanji and Brook and putting it into these zombies? Is that what's happening here? And is that... And so maybe Dr. Hogback isn't making zombies. He's just putting a consciousness inside them. He's stealing the consciousness or like the spirit of, you know, something or someone and putting it into these zombies. I've cracked the case, I think. Oh my god, okay, right, this is so good, guys. Ash has decided to join us for Thriller Bark, haven't you, my lad? Haven't you, my baby boy? Yes, you have. Yes, yeah. Oh, you're so tired. It looks like Zoro might be in that zombie general person. Jigoro, I think its name was. Jigoro of the Wind, zombie general, the legendary grumpy old man, a master swordsman who cut a swath through 7,000 pirates just to protect his family. And he does one sword style 36-pound phoenix. And that is a move that Luffy recognizes as Zoro's. So one by one, the Straw Hats are slowly becoming these zombies themselves by getting their, I think it's their subconscious or their spirit or something. I will find out soon. But Luffy's been taken. He's in a coffin. So that's how they must have got the other Straw Hats ready for the experiment. Isn't that so exciting, Ash? Isn't that so exciting? Was there anything else in this chapter, Ash, that you wanted to mention? Oh, there's this huge zombie general spider monkey called Taralan. I do have arachnophobia, so that does. Oh, the fact that it has actual human hands on the end of its legs. Oh, like the design is incredible. Oda is really going all out with this spooky atmosphere in this and all of the spooky designs. Like, they're terrifying, they're gruesome, they're gross. I mean, end up like a zombie eats human brains, although I do think that's a zombie stereotype. Nobody's ate any brains in this, I don't think. But I'm also wondering how they're going to defeat these zombies, because if they're sort of immortal, if they're the undead, then how are they going to die again? So I do think the threat is real, even though, again, we do have some comedic moments. I think the threat is real. Oh, I've just realised what Spider Monkey's from Twilight. I thought the name sounded familiar. And yeah, I think that's what Edward calls Bella. Her sort of nickname is Spider Monkey. Oh, now I'm just seeing an amalgamation of Edward and Bella from Twilight in this. Oh, I just got chills. But I love seeing Robin and Frankie working together. I do think that, I mean, of course, like Frankie has his moments, but I think them two are definitely, perhaps, I don't even actually want to make the claim, because I'll most likely get comments saying, "Are you stupid?" But maybe they're like two of the smartest in the Straw Hats, maybe. I know Robin definitely is. Frankie, he hasn't given me reason to doubt his smarts, essentially. So it's pretty much up to them two. Nami, Usopp, and Chopper are still like running all over the shop. That's pretty much all they've done in this arc so far. They've just ran from place to place being scared. And I feel so bad for Nami, because she even says this. Well, actually, Usopp says this. It always seems to be you thereafter. And she's like, yeah, tell me about it. And it's a funny little commentary on that. I loved it when Robin did Cienfleur Wing, and she ends up flying. I mean, only for about 5 seconds, but she does it enough so that she can get Frankie and them across to the other side. And then we see Brook falling from the sky. So is Brook's consciousness not in that samurai from Wano earlier that we saw? I don't know, I'm confused now. Okay, I don't know that warthog's name, but I was worried when she finally came across Nami and called her a home wrecker. I'm glad Nami got away. I would love to see them try and fight back a little bit, rather than just running from place to place, but you know, the arc is still young. Yo ho ho ho! It was Brook. So that was definitely Brook. So the person asking about Nami's panties earlier, the samurai, it must just be some kind of skeleton thing then, to ask to see someone's panties, I guess. The whole spider stuff was really freaky. Not gonna lie, it really did make my skin itch, which is honestly a fantastic thing. If these visuals can make me feel that way, despite how bizarre and random these things are, there are these other spider mice things that have been taking the Straw Hats, and they managed to get Robin off guard because, you know, they are all over the place and they can do things when you're not looking, behind your back and stuff. So like, that is actually kind of freaky. It was hilarious when Nami and Lola, who was that warthog I forgot the name of, when they were just having a bit of a heart-to-heart. You know, Lola just wants for Absalom to marry her, and Nami sits her down and they have a conversation. See, I feel like half of the conflict in One Piece could be avoided if they just sat down and had a conversation about it. I mean, it would be less fun for us to watch, but I just love the heart-to-heart they have. And she's like, and Lola, I do feel quite bad for her. She says, no one has ever encouraged this love of mine. You're the first person to offer me such kind words. And now I'm like, Lola, get your man. It's rather inspiring to see how much she is chasing her dream of marrying the man of her dreams. I can totally relate to that. It's what I'll be doing to Ace when he comes back. It's just the fact that Nami says that she's a man, and the fact that Chopper believes her. It's just like... But, I mean, Nami does have to think on her feet, and she does manage to get Lola to tell her about the treasure storage. So Nami is still being Nami, even when she's pretending not to be Nami. Nomitsu, I think her other name is. Well, I'm not a fan of the term cross-dresser. I feel like this was written quite a while back. This was like the 2000s, and I do feel like gender identity and stuff like that has come such a long way since then. So I'm not going to criticize One Piece for it. I know this is a little bit of an older arc, and Oda really does excel everywhere else. Brook is a bit of a badass, and I really enjoy the Robin, Frankie, and Brook dynamic, even though Robin and Frankie are the newest members of the Straw Hats, and Brook might be too. It almost feels like they've been there all the time. Brook's jokes, though, I find absolutely hilarious. I don't know why Robin and Frankie don't appreciate it more. I couldn't stop laughing at Well, one, this panel here, when Frankie looks like he's about to beat Brooke up because he's said another skull joke, and Robin's like, stop it, he's already dead. And I also love it how, like, Brooke is, I guess, looking at us as he's saying these jokes. Like, every single time he turns, like, face on the panel, and it's almost like breaking the fourth wall a little bit. He's kind of laughing as in, like, haha, I've just told a funny joke, haven't I? To us, the reader. Because he does it again, like, literally, if you just turn the page, the exact same kind of panel structure there, with Brooke looking, saying, even though I don't have any eyes, and Frank is screaming, I'm going to beat you up, and then Robin saying, yes, go ahead and beat him up. It's so funny. It's so funny. But even though Brooke's, like, absolutely ridiculous, it seems like he knows quite a lot. And 5 years before he got to Thriller Bark, he was captured, and he got to witness the shadow of someone be taken physically and put into, I think it was called a marionette, which is the sort of body that was constructed by Dr. I forgot his name. I keep forgetting his name. Hogback. So he is the one who constructs them all. There is the Mysterious Four, which includes Gecko Moria, who is the one who takes the shadow. And we get to see that in action with Luffy. So he actually takes Luffy's shadow. And not even say it's like the strongest three Straw Hats. Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji. They're the first three to get taken. And that adds a little bit more gravity to the situation that's happening in Thriller Bark right now. At the minute, Nami, Chopper, and Usopp are hiding inside this thing. I don't know what you call it. But they're overhearing it, and they are hearing Luffy. And yeah, now Luffy's had his shadow taken. And Brooke also explains that that is why they are after pirates with large bounties, because that means they are strong pirates, which means their abilities are transferred over into this marionette. And physical strength depends on the strength of the body, which is where Dr. Hogback comes in. And I just find that all like such a great kind of narrative for this arc, and a great storyline too. And it's exciting. We are seeing our Straw Hats in different bodies, in zombie bodies. How they fight and things are going to be so fun. Gecko Maria does look rather formidable, but I did see him on the cover, so it wasn't a surprise at how he looked. I'm still shaking. He's huge. He's very tall. Brooke defeated the Spider Monkey, slashed it, and said it was his soul going back to its original master. So I'm wondering now, maybe Brooke is the only person who can do this, but I'm thinking that maybe whatever body Luffy gets into has to be defeated in order for that soul, that shadow, to return to the original body. And same for Zoro and Sanji. There is a lot of play here, and I got another notification like 5 minutes ago from someone saying that nothing happened. Guys, are we reading the same thing? Well, the zombie that they want to put Luffy's shadow in is huge. The Berserker warrior they call the Beast, Oz. He's even bigger than Gecko Moria. Also, I must have got a bit confused earlier as well. Oh my god, the amount of times I got confused. But forgive me because I'm cute. Brooke's shadow is in that samurai. But I was a bit confused because Brooke said that as soon as your shadow is taken, your original body loses consciousness. And obviously Brooke is conscious, but it might have something to do with the devil fruit that Brooke had digested, maybe. Maybe that meant that his original body could wake up as the skeleton that he is, and he's been causing trouble for the past 5 years. And he's called the Humming Swordsman, so his reputation apparently precedes him. What is Brooke's backstory? Because Frankie was crying his eyes out and said, you don't meet a guy like that every day, and Robin agreed. And I imagine there will be more backstory. And we can't just have Frankie crying at whatever question he asked and not find out why he was crying. And I know Frankie is extremely sensitive, perhaps maybe overtly sensitive. But yeah, I think we need a couple of chapters of backstory. In the question corner, just before this chapter actually, we did have the whole Robin grabbed Frankie, can Robin feel what she's grabbing, please tell me. And yes, auditors confirm. It was like she grabbed Frankie with her bare hands. Girls, please don't do stuff like this. Yay, Robin and Frankie are back with Chopper and Usopp. Unfortunately, Nami's been taken by Absalom, but I love the fact that we have these characters having to save the stronger characters. I feel like I would have to really sit down and think about who I think are the strongest characters in One Piece. I definitely think like Luffy, Zoro, Sanji are definitely like top of that. And now Nami who is one of the like smarter ones. I mean, obviously we still got Robin and Frankie and Chopper and Usopp. Like, I don't want to discredit them either. But honestly, the Straw Hats are just falling apart. They're just getting whittled away down to almost nothing. You know, who's next? And I love the tension and suspense that this is building through the eventual disintegration of the Straw Hats. And I feel better knowing that Brook is on their side. I feel like without Brook, they wouldn't have known a whole lot about what's going on. They would have eventually figured it out, but I feel like Brook is definitely someone who is really helpful and is going to help dramatically. He has come face to face with his Shadow Stealer marionette thing, so it'll be interesting to see how he fights his shadow self, because if they have the same kind of moves, he will just be shadowing himself. So how do you defeat yourself? Ooh, that's deep. Does this arc focus on the self? Can you defeat yourself? What do you have to do in order to do that, to be able to fight with yourself and to win? Ooh, that is deep. That is actually very deep. That came out of nowhere. Brilliant, utterly brilliant. Luffy being in that huge monster, and the first thing I'm saying is, I'm hungry, Sanji, make me food. Hilarious. I don't know if he will attack his friend. He probably will, but then hopefully slowly realize that, hey, they're my friends, I shouldn't be doing this. Because he's huge, he's like a giant corpse. But yay, I really do love that Robin and Frankie are coming to the rescue. Yeah, I thought Luffy's shadow wouldn't just roll over for a new master. He still has his dream of being a pirate king. And again, just shows just how powerful a dream that is. That even though his shadow is in a totally different body, I guess his soul is in a totally different body. I mean, firstly, he's eating a lot of food that they can't keep up with. And secondly, he will become the Pirate King. So their plan has totally gone cattywampus. So what are they going to do now? What are they going to do now? They can't control Luffy, but now Luffy is going to have to fight it. And the giant obviously can't do the whole gum pistol and stretch because he's not made of rubber. But, you know, he still has the strength, he still has the moves. Yeah, and we ended the chapter actually with Zoro, Sanji, and Luffy waking up. At least their original bodies, because they're on the Thousand Sunny. So I guess the original bodies do wake up, they're just missing their shadow. But I think Brooke said something about it taking 2 days for people to usually wake up. But I guess, you know, these are raw Straw Hats, they are very strong. Of course they're going to wake up earlier. The main thing about this chapter was finding out more about Brook and how he became kind of the human swordsman to the zombies of Thriller Bark. How he's been trying to get his shadow back, trying to hunt down as many zombies as he possibly could in order to find out who has his shadow. Then he eventually does, and he loses against him. So you know how I said about how they will have like the same moveset? And you are basically just fighting yourself? Well, somehow, I guess because now his shadow is in a samurai, and a samurai, I guess their body is just naturally stronger than a skeleton. So even though they have the same moves, you know, he's a samurai. So it'll almost be like, I guess, when Luffy fights the giant, maybe, I don't know if that's actually going to happen, the giant will probably be a bit stronger because of the sheer size of it and the power that it has. So it's not just, you know, fighting yourself, you're fighting a totally different version of yourself. And I don't know how deep I want to go with that. I don't know if there's other things that I can possibly unpick in the themes of that. But slowly but surely we are learning a little bit more about Brook, and he's becoming a lot more relatable and a lot more likable as well. And I am really enjoying his presence. The gasp, I gasped. Oh my god. I'm still reading this chapter. Oh, it's bringing everything back to me from Reverse Mountain. The friend we promised to meet again at the Cape is named Laboon. Oh, I was not expecting that. And Brook is torn to shreds about the whole thing. Oh, I still have I'm not even barely through the chapter. I just had to talk about it. Laboon! Oh my god, that story about Laboon waiting for his crew to come back to him after all this time, and Luffy promising to return to Laboon as well. I genuinely didn't think we would get back to that storyline, or at least, like, not in this way. Not in this way. Oh, and that is the question that Frankie asked before. The question that made Frankie cry. Oh man, I can totally see why. And Frankie asks like such a, I guess, an insensitive question, because he's like, if I were you, I would have like killed myself years ago. But it just shows you Brook's determination, Brook's zest of life, even though he doesn't really have a life. He's pretty much dead. This is his second life. He is a skeleton, but like he died. So to have Brook embody life in a way, he is, I don't know if this makes sense, but like the dead embodiment of life. Like even though he's a skeleton and a skeleton represents death, he is alive. Oh God, Order, you genius. What is it that's keeping you alive? What is the pact with a friend you need to fulfill? I should have known this. As soon as it was mentioned that he made a pact with a friend, I should have known. We left behind a friend of our pirate crew at some point in the past. It was a troubling separation, but we did it out of necessity. We set sail after we promised to return at all costs, and our band of pirates died off in these waters, leaving that promise unfulfilled. Oh, Laboon's going to be so upset. But at least Brook's still alive. Gosh, and we were theorizing about the pirates that left. Like, was it a really heartless group of people who left Laboon? Like, that would be so heartless. But they died. Oh, and now they're never going to return to Laboon. Oh, this is breaking my heart. Stop. Stop. I'm not going to cry again. I'm not. Because I'm the only one who survived from the ship, it is my duty to return and tell him about this. It's probably been 50 years since the day we died. Alright, I'm going to continue reading on. Oh, and there he is. There's like a little flashback thing there. Oh, he was still a baby whale at the time. We couldn't take him on such a dangerous voyage. We'll definitely be back. I can't shake off the feeling that he still thinks of us. Yes, Laboon does. Oh, he was still waiting for them. He may even still believe we will return playing our usual cheerful music. Because when a man promises to return, he must return. Yeah, because Frankie's just told Luffy and everyone, and Luffy's like, Laboon? It's him. Are you serious? Oh my God. Like, the connection. I'm blown away. I am blown away. We know that whale. It's no mountain, it's a whale. Oh my God. It's like, oh, it's perfect. It's beautiful. It's amazing. Oh, I love Brook so much more now. God damn, how am I falling in love with this character so quickly? I need to stop doing this. I should not be as trusting. But I'm not a cynic. I literally am Frankie. Oh, guys, seriously, why don't you love this arc? Oh, I'm feeling things again. Okay, so I finished the chapter. I just love it when the entire crew, well, minus Nami because she is about to get married. Congrats, I guess. The way that they're just like, he's one of us now. Like, anyone have a problem with that? And Robin, even if we did, would anything change your mind? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He sees a good person. Like, he just knows. I think he just knows. Alright, everyone, prepare the counterattack. We're going to blow Thriller Bark to bits. Alright. So now, one thing that I'm so excited about is the reunion between Brook and Laboon. I feel like I've been waiting years for it, and it most likely still hasn't happened in the current timeline and like what's currently present in January 2023, 1000 and whatever chapters in of One Piece we are at. It probably hasn't even happened yet, but I hope, and I am rooting for this for as long as it takes for Brook to reunite with Laboon. And also the fact that Brook was protecting his afro, and it made it seem like such a superficial and weak aspect of Brook to begin with. And his shadow warrior self, zombie, was ridiculing him for it and making it seem like it was such a vain thing for Brook to be concerned about. But it turns out that the afro is most likely the only thing that Laboon will recognize when they reunite. Like, oh God, isn't that beautiful? Oda made something that seemed so vain to begin with seem huge and monumental in retrospect. He's protecting his afro so that Laboon will remember him when they reunite. When, and I said when. They're definitely gonna. They are definitely gonna. Has anyone played Kingdom Hearts? I feel like One Piece is a little bit like that, how we go from like place to place. And it does feel like we've just come across like Halloween Town and we're playing an epic story in Halloween Town almost. Like that's the kind of comparison I'm making. It's totally different, obviously, but my love for it, like this is where my love is coming from, I think. I'm just getting flashbacks or like a memory to me playing Halloween Town for the first time in Kingdom Hearts as I was younger. And I'm just getting those feelings back. I don't know if maybe I'm getting nostalgic for One Piece even though I'm reading it for the first time. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense? I just feel like there's a connection I have with this story. But I've also finished volume 47. I am now on volume 48. There is Luffy's Shadow Giant. There is Luffy. there's going to be some kind of confrontation between them, I think. And nothing is going to stop Luffy now from getting those shadows back. It's also starting to get dark, so I'll take a break, put the lights on, stuff like that. And I'm definitely going to finish Thriller Bark today. I'm not stopping. There's no way I'm stopping. My cats are awake now and demanding my attention, but that's absolutely fine because I don't think there's a whole lot to say about the chapter. Again, it's just like Luffy, Zoro, everyone just going to, well, more further into Thriller Bark, trying to get to Gecko Moria to get the shadows back. So I forgot about this little tidbit. But yeah, apparently if they defeat Gecko Moria, then they will be able to get all of the shadows back at once, and all the shadows will be released. So that'll be super handy. But they also do have the little salt bomb things that Usopp have made for them, so that they can, you know, get these souls back in the meantime. So that's all good. I love the fact that they have a plan. They always work so well together, and I love seeing it. Favorite moment of the chapter though was when Sanji was told that Nami was getting married, and he's in the background just in flames. And I forgot that Sanji can go up in flames now, so that's really funny. The fact that he just kept burning, and Usopp also let Sanji know that Absalom saw Nami naked in the bath too. And that just riled him up even more. And it's perfect because that anger will just drive them forward. Oh god, guys, look at this shot of Perona. And what does it remind you of? Does it remind you of a certain Inoru or Enel who is appearing in our current cover stories? Because it reminds me of that epic moment in Skypiea when it turns out Luffy is... What's the word again? When he doesn't get affected by the electricity that Inoru was putting down on him. And that face that Inoru makes when that happens is like one of my favourite moments. So to see Perona do that with Usopp, who, you know those ghosts that Perona controls, how it makes you negative? And he says, I'm already extremely negative. And she does that reaction, hilarious. But also the fact that it didn't work on Usopp. I love the fact that it didn't because he got a little moment to shine there. And he is standing looking so epic while he does that. But it also demonstrates that, okay, Usopp still is negative. He had a lot of self-doubt in Enies Lobby. There are so many things that have been bothering him. And he does criticize himself a lot. So as horrible as it is that this negative power didn't work on him because he's still so negative, I do love the fact that Oda is still acknowledging that Usopp still has problems. He is still thinking about what's happened. All of the things that he said in Enies Lobby, it hasn't gone away, and that's brilliant character work. Anyone who says Oda doesn't do characters well can literally... Well, what can they do? Shut up. That's the only comeback I've got right now. Luffy's already found Gecko Moria as well, so... I mean, it'll be interesting if they fight this early on. Because they did wait a while for, like, say, Luffy versus Lucci. Like, that happened quite late in the arc. And I don't even think I'm halfway through yet. But the fact that we've ended with... Ew, Absalom about to kiss an unconscious Nami who he's forcing to marry her is absolutely sickening. I object. The fact that Giant Luffy took down all of these zombie generals in an instant, just flattened them, is a great thing because it means that this Giant Luffy has already taken out so many. So really we're just focusing on the big guys, the mystery four. But it's also like so ridiculous, like so ridiculous. We haven't heard in a while the swords and the categories that they're in. That I remember from Logtown, we got a lot more I think it was Logtown. We got more backstory into all of these legendary swords and stuff. And because Zoro is about to fight this samurai who took down a dragon, he is gonna probably be in possession of a excellent grade sword, one of only 21. So Zoro is gonna help Brook, because this is who Brook is fighting and obviously can't really defeat himself. At least Zoro's going to get something out of it and get another great sword. I was so gutted for Zoro in Water 7 when he couldn't buy a good sword. He just didn't have enough money. So I love the fact that Zoro is collecting all of these legendary swords. That would make a great game. Can you do that in One Piece Odyssey? Can you collect legendary swords for Zoro? Because that would be amazing. Sanji has walked in on the wedding, so hopefully he's going to stop what's happening. It was hilarious when Absalom was trying to kiss Nami, but the shaking of the building meant that he couldn't actually kiss her, and thank God. Because Luffy is causing so much destruction with his giant size and strength, he's made the ship of Thriller Bark go into a sea current, which is going to cause more destruction. Like, again, it's like the kind of whole backbone of these, backbone of these arcs, where something catastrophic happens around all of the fighting. So in Skypiea, we had Inoru enacting all of this lightning. In Water 7, we had Aqua Laguna. In Enies Lobby, we had pretty much Enies Lobby getting destroyed and shaking. And in this, it's gonna be the kind of same thing, which I do love. I do love the added element of tension. We had two sort of mini fights in this, one between Luffy and Gecko Moria, showing that it's not just going to be that easy to just go up to him, beat his ass, and bring all the shadows back. That isn't what's going to happen, I think. Gecko Moria says that they will not be able to just get the shadows back if they defeat him. He is the master of the shadows, so he has to actually be the one to say to the shadows, go back to your master, or something like that. And then Sanji does have a fight with Absalom, and he hasn't quite finished yet. There will be more of that fight coming up, but at least Nami, I think, isn't bound to him by marriage. I think he has been stopped before he could actually kiss the bride and seal the deal. All in all, not a whole lot to say about it. I don't really have that many feelings about what's going on right now, but we're getting back into that kind of routine of having someone versus someone and those fights kind of carrying through. I must admit, I find that whole Sanji's dream bit rather ridiculous. Not gonna lie, I wasn't the biggest fan of all of that. He tells Absalom that he took one of his dreams from him, and I thought he was gonna say, my dream was always to be the first person to walk Nami down the aisle kind of thing. But no, he wanted the devil fruit that Absalom had to make him invisible so that he can also peep on women. Well, he keeps stopping himself, from peeping on women and stuff like that to say that he could do good in the world. But we all know exactly what Sanji would actually do with that power. So I'm actually quite thankful to Absalom for having it. But at the same time, Absalom did peep on Nami and see her naked, which is, again, a really awful, awful thing to do. There are two zombies that are just watching all of this unfold, calling them both perverts and that they're both as bad as each other, which I would have to agree with. I'm literally those zombies right now. Also, I thought Absalom was some kind of like tiger or cheetah before, but no, he has the head of a lion, skin of an elephant, muscles from bears and gorillas. You're just gonna have to forgive me because I'm so cute. So the Sanji and Absalom fight is still a bit ongoing. So I don't know if Absalom has been officially taken out, but I wasn't the biggest fan of that whole fight. But we do have Usopp chasing Perona, and she says that she knows how to overcome Usopp and his negativity. So I'm interested to see what she discovered. Well, Usopp just proved that he's an incredibly smart dude. And am I going to stay on this sofa all night? Yes. Tobu has joined me. I'll probably sit here until I'm done. But Usopp, seriously, I love when we have Usopp because a lot of the time we get a lot of his internal monologue and his internal thoughts, and he's trying to work out during this fight with Perona her weakness, because she seemed so scared of Usopp to begin with because he was so filled with negativity, and that meant that her powers with her ghosts would do nothing to him. She can still hurt him by blasting things around him and stuff like that, but then Usopp works out that her body is somewhere else and he manages to find it. So that's such good work. And also we got the return of the Sniper King, absolute icon. Honestly, this saga is just having it all. Sniper King is back, Laboon, everything I want in a saga is unfolding before my eyes. I was honestly creeped out when Perona put her hand through Usopp and was like touching his heart. And for a second it did look like she could squeeze his heart. I can't even talk about it. No. It honestly does get under my skin. Anything to do with the internal body creeps me out. It really does. Okay, we're going to move on. Oh, Usopp was fantastic. And what an incredibly creative way of making him fight. The fact that this actually was, or it turned out to be, a game of lying, a game of deceit, a game of negativity. Obviously, Usopp would come out champion. I love how perfectly matched that fight was and how Usopp just absolutely kept surprising me during the battle. He used the dials from Skypiea, and when I thought that he missed, because I was like, he never misses. I thought he missed his shot. Turns out he used like a sticky dial and made it so that Perona couldn't move, so that he could end up using this huge hammer thing. But it turns out that that's a lie as well, because it was just a big balloon, and he won. He won through lying, he won through a sort of sleight of hand technique, and he's just incredible, honestly. He has come so far since the start of the series, let me tell you. He still has his moments of fear, but oh my gosh, like he handled this battle with wit and strength. He was strong, he was awesome. I always thought that he would improve and his fighting style would improve and he'd get more brave and be the warrior that he said he wanted to be. But actually seeing it happen, actually seeing it unfold, and in a way that keeps it away from me too. Like, I had no idea what he was going to do next. I had no idea what his moves were, but he did it. He pulled it off and he pulled the wool over my eyes as well. Honestly, bravo. Bravo Usopp. But also it looks like Zoro fighting the samurai is not going to be as easy. He does seem to be a very formidable match, and Zoro is literally on the ground. It says the battle is over and then it goes 5 minutes before, and I kind of like that. It does have that little bit of a time jump, like, oh, this is the aftermath. Zoro's on the floor bleeding. And the samurai is, I mean, just look at him. He looks terrifying. Like, what the hell happened? I'm going to have to read on to find out. Oh, so is that why you guys keep telling me nothing happened? Because Zoro said, the sword is mine to keep, but let's pretend this fight never happened. Samurai of the Wano country. That is why, right? It was a pretty good fight, actually. I mean, I can't really speak too much about it, I guess, or really review it, because it was just a lot of movement, a lot of destruction that was going along around them. They were very evenly matched. But I'm so glad that Zoro has the sword now. And also, Brook has his shadow back too. I'm so happy about that. Oh, it was intense. And parts of it, I had to stare at the panel for a little bit just to actually see what actually went on in that panel. But they were very evenly matched. They were both a challenge to each other. And it was nice to see Zoro have somebody who was worth his time as an opponent. Because I hate it when Zoro has to waste his talent on small fry. This samurai was actually a really good fight. I feel so bad for Sindri, and Dr. Hogback really is a piece of scum. The conversation between Chopper and Dr. Hogback was actually really interesting, especially when you have different doctors with different ideals and what Dr. Hogback is doing. I'm so glad Chopper called him out on it. It's not right and it's not good. It is that kind of dilemma, isn't it, where if you have the ability to bring back a loved one, but what you bring back is not the same, is there any point? Because when somebody is gone and they're not who they are, then having just a walking, talking zombie is not really a good substitute for that. It doesn't bring them back. And it's such a good conversation that they had. And Hogback is an absolute coward. He's trying to run away, but Sindri, I feel so bad for her. Hogback did love her and proposed to her, but she said no. She ended up dying, and Hogback ended up working for Gecko Moria in the one condition that Hogback will be allowed to bring Sindri back. But it was the moment when he made Sindri lick the floor. That was the moment I really did realize that he was just scum. A cowardly scumbag. A creature whose soul and body aren't connected is no human being at all. All you're doing is using corpses with no free will to create monsters. It's exactly what he's done. He deserves no one's respect. And you know what they say, never meet your heroes. However, I would love to meet Ichiro Oda, because yes, I would consider him a hero. Sounds like fun. Yes, it does. I must admit, I think the charm of this world of Thriller Bark has kind of started to wear off on me. I still really enjoy this arc, don't get me wrong, but I think I was more enamored by the beginning of this arc than I am right now. I've said it. It's still really exciting. We have Oz, the giant Luffy, who's going around, and he is going to crush the Straw Hats. That is very exciting. Nami is still unconscious. I would love for her to wake up. Something's happening to Sindri, and it might be that her original body, even though it's been dead for 10 years, might be helping in a way. I mean, it'll be really hard to know for sure, but I don't mind that. Honestly, I guess it's just the magic and the charm of One Piece, is that not everything has to be explained, but it will be nice for Sindri to be able to regain her own control of her own body, because it just feels like a lot of their own free will has been stripped away from them. All of these zombies, they have no free will, essentially. They get told what to do and they have to do it. So I'm like really rooting for the zombies. I'm rooting for the zombie characters, and I'm rooting for the Mysterious Four to be taken down. But yeah, I definitely think I enjoyed Thriller Bark more at the start, when I could see the outside of it and the scary stuff that was happening, essentially. But still really good and still really enjoying it. Oh, the end of this chapter hits me so hard. I don't know any of you. Oof. that is just brutal. I love when Zoro does the one gorilla, two gorilla thing. Oh, it just does things to me. I also forgot to mention this, it might have been a couple of chapters back, but Zoro and Sanji, the bodies that they were in, I love the fact that they fight and they can't get on with one another either. So it doesn't matter what body they're in, they're going to be constantly at each other's throats. And I love that Robin tricked Dr. Hogback into getting the Zoro and Sanji zombies to walk over the edge and drop. And that was just a great trick. Robin shining constantly as always. But yeah, the fight between Oz, aka Giant Luffy, and the Straw Hats was honestly brutal to watch. They gave it their all, one by one, all together, and they still fell. It hurts. It hurts to read that. And it just felt like their combined strength didn't really work. But they do work beautifully together, even if they didn't win this round. Like, say, Robin saving Zoro from falling by using her powers and making a net, by having like Sanji and Zoro and Chopper taking turns of trying to hit Luffy, Usopp trying the sword but his body being too big, Frankie trying to use his like machine gun thing, just everything, it just wasn't enough. Of course, because Oz is absolutely freaking huge. Not feeling as atmospheric as it was at the start, as I mentioned, but still really good with the fighting. But I finished volume 48, and now I will be starting volume 49. I need to stop looking at covers, because I just saw Luffy as a giant blue thing. Is he like the Blue Hulk or something? But so that does mean that Absalom and Gecko Moria are the only two left of the Mysterious Four to beat. You better not underestimate the true power of your own crew. What an epic moment right there. This arc has had quite a few epic moments. I mean, of course, not as epic or as grand as Water 7 and Enies Lobby, but still epic in its own right. And I know I was saying like a couple of chapters before, oh, you know, it's not the same as before. I mean, it's still not. I'm not getting those Halloween-y vibes that I was loving at the start of this. But that's fine. You know, we couldn't stay in the start forever. I forgot to mention as well that Oz squished Dr. Hogback, and that was so brutal. The best thing about this chapter, though, was Lola and Nami. Oh, Lola scared me to begin with, but now she's amazing. I love her. The fact that she came to actually save Nami. I know Lola wanted to marry Absalom, so like there was some part of her that just wanted Nami out of the way so that she could marry him. But there's a friendship there. There's definitely a friendship there. She always knew Nami was a woman, even though Nami tried to tell her, no, I'm really a man, to stop Lola from hurting her. But no, they're friends now. They're friends. Lola saved Nami, and then Absalom struck Lola, and Nami was about to run away, but then she saw and she was like, how dare you do that to Lola? And then she ends up knocking Absalom out. And she must have got him in a weak spot because he just went right down. It did seem like Sanji had weakened him to a point. But I don't care. Nami's the one who took him down, okay? A win is a win. And now I hope Lola forces Absalom to marry her while he's unconscious, just like he tried to do to Nami. And just saying all this out loud, it does seem a little bit ridiculous. It does. The whole forcing Nami to get married to him storyline, it is rather weird and just weird. Because that is an absolutely scary visual to wake up to. You know what? Part of me was kind of hoping to see that Pirates Docking 6 thing because it just sounds so ridiculous. It was weird, right? Like, I'm not the only one who thinks that that was weird. The fact that Zoro and Sanji went along with that too, it's something that I would expect Frankie, Chopper, and Usopp to do, and definitely Luffy too, which is why the giant Luffy Oz was like, also kind of disappointed that Robin didn't join in on that. I do get it. I do get why. So much happening again. Zoro and Sanji working together-ish to help Frankie and Chopper building stairs to reach Luffy's face. Like, again, that's like so bonkers. I'd love to see that acted out. And even Chopper saying, you know, just because you have a huge body doesn't mean you don't also have weaknesses in that body too. So Chopper using his medical knowledge in order to take this giant down was beautiful. Chef's kiss. So I really did like the fight between them. It was so good to see them because I thought they were down for the count at the end of the last chapter, but they just keep coming back swinging. What does this Bartholomew bastard want with my ace? At the very end of the last chapter, we had this big bear-like sort of person. Like, he has tiny little bear ears come into it. And he was called Warlord Bartholomew Kuma. Kuma. And he's one of the 7 warlords of the sea. So we have 2 7 warlords of the sea appear in one arc? That's intense, man. That's really scary. And both of them are still active. Gecko Moria still hasn't been defeated. Luffy's still fighting him, which we haven't really seen much of. It just seems like an endless battle with shadows at the minute. Nami gets to the dock. She stops Perona from leaving with the ship. Well, I guess she doesn't really stop her per se. She gets her talking, and then Bartholomew appears, and then he makes Perona just disappear like that. What is going on? He's holding a Bible as well? So perplexed. What does he want with Ace? Why is he even mentioning Ace? What happened to Ace? Because at the end of the last arc, his hat dropped during his battle with Blackbeard, and we still don't know what happened after that. He's not delivering bad news to Luffy, is he? Why would he? He's one of the 7 warlords of the sea. He's not a messenger, surely. What is going on? But also, Nami looks amazing in that wedding dress. Can I just say? Like, she looks incredibly beautiful. And I'm not a pervert like half of the characters in this. She is just genuinely beautiful, and I can admire her beauty. Yo ho ho ho, thank God Brook came with a mountain of salt, just as Usopp got punched out. I'm sorry I'm late. I thought that you might need lots of salt, so I went and gathered it. What a great guy. It is scary when 2 warlords of the sea are together, but the fact that the world government are shaking at their core that the Straw Hats will take down another warlord of the sea just proves the magnitude of strength that the Straw Hats have and how the entire world are quaking at their feet at the Straw Hats. The government is concerned that another one of the 7 warlords will be taken out by a Straw Hat. So Bartholomew Kuma has only come to warn, I can't ever remember his name, it keeps escaping me. I keep wanting to say Gorka, but it's Gecko Moria. He's come to warn Gecko Moria, and he's not staying around to help fight, thank God. Although I'm sure the Straw Hats would eventually take him down. Just one warlord of the sea at a time, please. Also, Blackbeard has taken over Crocodile as his successor, Marshal Day Teach, also known as Blackbeard, which I feel like I already knew. But yes, now Oz and Gecko Moria are joined as one, and they're going to try and fight him now. Thriller Bark has also left the safety, I guess, of the Florian Triangle, so the fog will lift, and then when the sun shines through, because it's going to be 30 minutes until morning, then anyone without a shadow will disintegrate. So Sanji and Zoro still need their shadows, so does Luffy. So we have yet again another ticking time bomb on the climax of a One Piece arc. Yeah, I love Nami and her climate baton, although I think it's called something totally different to a lot of other people. It's just the English translation. And Nami used Thunderbolt Tempo, which is honestly one of my favorite moves, and it works against Luffy just as he's about to squish Frankie. Blows my mind the fact that this Oz can use Luffy's power, his stretching power. His body isn't made of rubber, but something that Moria is doing is helping him. And then at the end, we do have Lola's pirates, because she's the captain of them, the Rolling Pirates gang, underlings of our Captain Lola the Proposer. And they're going to give Luffy power, and I believe they turn him into the Big Blue Hulk. So that's what I imagine. It is on the cover, so that was like spoiled for me a little bit there. But that's fine. I don't think that's much of a spoiler. I don't really care that I got spoiled for it. Hiya, Ash. Oh, you want some attention? I think I might have to play with the cats for a little bit. But no, I'm excited to say Luffy versus Luffy, as strange as that sounds. Are you excited for Luffy versus Luffy, Ash? Yes? Okay, good. So yeah, Luffy is now going to be like the Incredible Hulk. And he has 100 Shadow Souls within him. And that's pretty incredible. Lola, the first thing she says is, "Oh my, I like you, marry me." And Luffy blunt, no. Projected for the 4,444th time. Poor Lola. And they've been collecting all of these Shadow Souls, purifying the zombies and getting these souls in the shadows. And yeah, they put them in Luffy, 100 of them. And he seems pretty huge now. But he only has 10 minutes. 10 minutes to take down Oz before the power just leaves him. And of course we have 20 minutes until the sun comes up. It's always in the nick of time, isn't it? It's always that close of a gap. Can't they just comfortably have like 2 hours before the sun comes up? No, apparently not. The fight with Oz is still going on. Yeah, Shadow Revolution. Shadow Revolution is happening. But Robin says your Shadow Revolution is over. I love her. Looks like she's about to break his neck as well. But he has a really creepy smile on his face. This is Moria. Has a really creepy smile on his face. So obviously that's not going to be what breaks his neck. That's not what's going to take him down. He's smiling for a reason. Okay, the next chapter is Luffy versus Luffy. Okay, but this chapter, I think Gum Gum Gatling is one of my favorite moves. It looks like multiple fists, but I think it's just his fist going so super fast that it looks like there's multiple ones. But it's just so devastating when that happens. But Robin nearly took on Oz and Moria one-on-one. Moria ends up switching himself with his like doppel... What was it called again? He's not a doppelganger. Doppelman, I think. Yeah, Doppelman. So he can pretty much like sort of teleport between them. So that's like really cool move. But the storm rages on. Chub actually came up with a brilliant plan of finding out what the original cause of death was for Oz. Find out it's frostbite, probably died from exposure, and they're hitting his arm, and they're going to try and see if they can slash his effectiveness in half by getting rid of the arm, which I think was where evidence of frostbite was. So that's so clever. That is so clever. It makes it a little bit different to other fights in the past. Very good thinking. All of them are thinking so well and so smart in this. The more people they come up against, the better they become. And this fight is really proving that. Yes, bitch! There's only one Luffy, and it's me. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. That was epic. One of my favorite moments of this arc, I think. It's always a good time when Luffy just like steps out and he's just like, right, I'm taking over. And he beautifully stops Oz's punch. Just like, this is child's play. This is literally child's play. That's what Luffy is saying. And knocks him into the stratosphere. Well, not exactly that far. But it knocks him all the way out. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I don't know if that's the end of Oz. Or no, I mean, we still have Moria to take out. But I don't know if that is actually the end of Oz. He looks very much conked out. And I can only imagine what Luffy sounds like in this form, because they say that he doesn't quite sound like Luffy, but he does look like him. So I might watch the anime version of this so I can hear what he sounds like. I imagine it's more like, you know, like Hulk kind of vibes. But yeah, the fake Luffy, aka Oz, had no chance against the real Luffy. The one and only Luffy. Sorry, okay, now I think that Luffy has defeated Oz. We ended this chapter with them saying, he really did it, he really won, he beat Oz and Moria, everyone's shadow will be released. Like, it was good. It was like the Gum Gum Storm, that was pretty exciting. It was good. It was a good fight, but maybe, I don't know, maybe there was just like a lot going on, like maybe a bit too much going on, that I couldn't quite follow the fight 100%. And it felt like it both like dragged a little bit, but also happened a little bit too quick, if that makes any sense. Like, as soon as Luffy shows up, of course, like, boom, he's done, essentially. Like, that was just 2 chapters of Nightmare Luffy hitting him and overcoming him. Whereas it has been, you know, dozens of chapters already building up to this, of course. But yeah, it was a good fight. It was a good fight. It was a good fight. Okay, I'm sick of these spectators saying that he did it when he didn't actually do it. They've done it again at the end of this chapter. Luffy didn't take down Oz himself in the previous chapter that I just mentioned when I was like, oh, this wasn't like the best fight I've ever seen. Just ignore me. Oz stood up, but so did Luffy. Even though all of the odds were against him because he'd been tired out from all of those souls being in him, all of those shadows, and he should have been out for the count. But yeah, he stood up, Robin, Zoro, everyone. So we end this fight. I think it's done. I love the fight even more now because it wasn't just Luffy who took him down. It was team effort. You know, Nami had a part to play in it, Chopper, Frankie, everyone. They each did something to take down Oz. But obviously Luffy did have the final punch with the Gum Gum giant bazooka, which was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. What a painful move. And what a great end to the fight, honestly. If I had just waited that one chapter before I was just like, it would have been fine. But you know, I also love eating my own words, okay? Tasty. It's my favourite flavour. Okay, again, it's not over. As you can tell, patience is not my strong suit. Poor Captain Lola, she's disintegrating. In fact, quite a few people are disintegrating. Moria has taken 1,000 shadows, and that's pretty much everyone on Thriller Bark. And if they don't get away from the sunlight, they're going to disintegrate, including the Straw Hats, because a lot of the Straw Hats still have their shadows taken. But I love at the end of the chapter, we have Luffy steaming up, and he's gearing up to take on Moria with literally the sun coming up. Like, we have run out of time, so he needs to do this as soon as possible. It felt almost a bit like, you know, The Little Mermaid with Ursula when she starts to get bigger at the end of that film. Felt a little bit like that with the shadows, sort of, or like whatever grabs the shadows for Moria coming out of him. That's so cool. That's kind of scary too. So we're coming back to a little bit more of the fear and the scariness that we had at the start of the arc. Because honestly, actually, the more I look at him, the more Moria looks terrifying. The sharp teeth, the dark eyes. And now he's huge. He looks terrifying. He is a really scary looking villain. But now I have finished volume 49, and now I'm starting volume 50 and the final 8 chapters of Thriller Bark. Oh, I love the One Piece logo. how the Jolly Roger Straw Hat is on fire. That's cool. All of this talk about the New World and how the real nightmare is waiting in the New World. The New World has been brought up a few times in Thriller Bark, so I'm both intrigued and scared about the New World. Like, what is waiting there? What's waiting for me in the New World? I kind of don't want to know. Also, seeing them start to disintegrate, I mean, that's terrifying. They're obviously waiting for Moria to destroy himself because he's taken on so many shadows that obviously can't control them all. That's just like a little bit too much for one mind to control. So there are shadows spewing out of him, but I don't know about the Straw Hat shadows or even Lola's shadows. What Lola says about his shadow coming back to her, I mean, it's sweet, but also like extremely corny. Really corny. Like, I'm not emotionally invested. I mean, I do like Lola, don't get me wrong, I like her, but I'm not emotionally invested in what's happening with these shadows. And I don't want to sound like a bitch when I say that. I guess this is like the first arc in a while where I don't think I've truly connected to the background characters or like the side characters or the overall story that's going on in the entire place. I'm probably confusing a lot of people because I'm saying I really enjoy this one. I love it. I like it. I'm just, as I'm going through, I'm realizing that at this pivotal point, like as Lola is shouting, I'm not emotionally invested. I think that's all I can say about that. Oh, well, what started off as a bit of a wholesome chapter kind of disintegrated before our very eyes. Look at me pulling out more jokes. So Kuma's still on the island. I totally forgot about him for a second. And he doesn't, well, the government don't want anyone to know that another one of the 7 warlords of the sea has been taken down. Ow. Because that's a bad reputation to have. And yeah, it does kind of dampen the title. If the Straw Hats can keep taking them down, then what's the point, So I totally get that. But that means that he now has to annihilate them. Nobody can know what happened on Thriller Bark. Oh, is that why guys said nothing happened? Is there something that means that everything that happened on Thriller Bark is just like, we just don't talk about it, but like Fight Club? Rule number 1 of Fight Club, don't talk about Fight Club. And his power's scary. He touches someone and they disappear. And we had so much hope to begin with because we saw in various parts of the world people getting their shadows back and them standing out in sunlight for the first time in years. And it's like very wholesome and very nice, and I do like that. And then I think, we're going to have a nice break now. We're going to leave Thriller Bark and we're going to go on to our next adventure. But more Fulai, we now have Kuma. And he says, I'm going to start off with you, Roronoa Zoro. Leave Zoro alone. There mustn't be any witnesses to Moria's defeat. Oh, well. We managed to avoid Robin, Zoro, Sanji, and Luffy disintegrating. And now this. Give me a break. I'm in a little bit of shock, not gonna lie. This arc is definitely taking a bit of a turn. It reminds me a little bit how at the end of Long Ring Long Land, how Ikiji appeared and just intensified everything. That's exactly what Kuma is doing right now. What is he doing? What is his power? So he has these like paw pads on his hand. He can seem to deflect everything. They are just speculating. Robin says maybe he's deflecting the atmosphere. And he says I call it the pad cannon. Air pressure deflected at light speed, creating a piercing shockwave. So he can like sort of, I guess, deflect things. I don't know, like use air pressure. Because then at the end of the chapter, he seems to have created some big bomb with his paw pad thing. It's a shock. And he wants the head of Luffy as well, but they're not going to give him up. I love this. I love how they all shout, never. Like, even Lola and her pirates, and they just met him. But to be fair, they do owe Luffy a huge debt. But wow, the way he just talks, the way that people try and stop him. Sanji, piece of cake. Usopp, he says, the king of snipers, a title you clearly do not deserve. And he's just brutal, absolutely brutal. He deflects Zoro's attacks and manages to knock him away. And he seems incredibly, incredibly powerful. To be fair, a lot of the antagonists that appear in One Piece do appear incredibly powerful to begin with, and then we do chip away at them. But this just made it go on a completely different trajectory than I was anticipating. So now I know why you guys say nothing happened at all. Oh my gosh, what a moment, Zoro. What a moment. Him offering himself up to Kuma to save Luffy, his captain. Zoro is like the best crewmate ever, like seriously. But wow, the fact that he took on Luffy's pain and suffering that he had endured, and that pain is incredible. You can see it in the widening of Zoro's eyes. Again, this is just a testament to Oda and how he can make it seem so painful and raw and real. You have exceptional friends. He's your son after all, Dragon. So he knows Dragon. But also the fact that Kuma is, well, he says he's some kind of, what did he say again? I want to say pacifier, but that's not the right word. Pacifista. He's a pacifista and the government's human weapon, but not yet complete. So he's some kind of like robot cyborg thing, which took me by surprise. But I shouldn't be surprised because he does seem odd. He does seem very odd in his sort of character design, his structure, the way he has no pupils as well, or at least, I mean, is he wearing glasses? Actually, I can't tell if they are just his eyes or if he's wearing glasses. If he's a cyborg thing, he doesn't need glasses, right? But Zoro, Luffy, is the man who will become king of the pirates. And even Sanji is like, I will offer myself up instead. And it's just typical to have Zoro and Sanji kind of, again, fight one another to sacrifice themselves for Luffy. Oh, both of them are fantastic. But Zoro, honestly, oh my gosh, he takes all of that pain on even though he is on death's door. Kuma says he will not be able to survive the pain. But here he is, oh my god, still alive. Hey, are you alive? Where'd he go? What happened here? Nothing at all. Now I get it. I thought you guys were trolling me so hard. I almost believed it. I genuinely thought that maybe you just compared it to Water 7 in that not much happened. But wow. And Luffy getting up and just like, oh my god, I feel great. Like, yeah, your crewmate just did that for you. Oh god, Zoro, you absolute champion. And his belief in Luffy is the man who will become king of the pirates. Oh, I can't talk enough just how incredible, again, I find these characters. My love knows no bounds at this point. I want to get a tattoo of One Piece. Like, that's how much I love it right now. Which isn't indicative of my love for it, but I just wanted to say it, okay? Oh my god, I'm literally 2 pages in to this chapter, and Dr. Hogback, who actually isn't dead, he wasn't squished, is reading a paper and he says, Commander of the 2nd Division of the Whitebeard Pirates Fire Fist Ace, currently awaiting execution in the Great Prison of Impel Down. Shut up. Shut up. What does that mean? What does that mean? He's currently awaiting execution. What? Like Gold Day Roger? And how he was away? No. Well, he's gonna get saved. I know there's a arc coming up called Impel Down. So obviously, instead of going to Fishman Island, Luffy's gonna go and save his brother, obviously. But that's terrifying. He's actually awaiting execution. No, they're not gonna get away with this. They're not gonna get away with it. Anyway, why have they captured him and not Blackbeard? Oh, I guess he is like one of the 7 warlords of the sea now. So he does sort of have the protection of the government, right? Because they need to keep the power in balance. That's so unfair. Ace is a good guy. Wait until Luffy finds out about this. I haven't even finished the chapter, so I'm going to get back to reading it. But as soon as I heard that he was away next, I'm going to shut up. Oh, the little cutie saying Laboon is the little whale and Brook playing music for him back with his crew. Oh, again, that part did hit me. Like, I wasn't getting emotional before with the other characters of Thriller Bark, but it's Laboon. It's Laboon. Of course I was going to feel attached and emotional. And Brook knowing that Laboon is still waiting for him and knowing that he's okay and that he's as big as a mountain is so touching. Oh, one of the best parts of Thriller Bark. I find so many great moments in every single arc I read. It's fab. It's so good. Like, look at him crying. Oh, that little Laboon. Oh, he's so cute. Oh yeah, the other Straw Hats don't know what Zoro did apart from Sanji, but Zoro said nothing happened, so Sanji doesn't want to say anything. But there were other witnesses who saw it, and Sanji mentions it and makes them promise not to say anything, but Robin had her ear out, so she knows. Robin knows. I don't know if they're ever going to tell Luffy or anyone else about it because, yeah, Zoro doesn't want gratitude for what happened and, you know, how that would make Luffy feel knowing that his shipmate, one of his closest friends, did that for him and took on his pain and suffering. And Luffy's just bouncing around like nothing happened because nothing happened. So it's such a bittersweet chapter in all honesty. Like, I'm glad we are leaving Thriller Bark, but oh my god, in the whole freaking Ace, currently waiting execution. Oh, Laboon made me forget that for a second there. What a blissful few seconds. I do think that Brooke is actually joining them because now he'll want to see Laboon again and they will eventually get back to Laboon, I'm sure. So they'll not be hurrying to see him, but they'll make the promise to Brooke that they will reunite him with Laboon. That's going to be the best moment ever. I know I already mentioned that, but now that the actual Thriller Bark saga is coming to a close and I know that this is an actual possibility, I am so rooting for it. And I'm rooting for Brooke to join. I really do think he works well with the team and I think he will be a great asset to them. And he has such a unique character design as well. It'll be awesome. Does Thriller Bark feature in One Piece Odyssey? I don't remember it being on the list of arcs, but what an amazing place that they could visit, and it would make such a cool design, especially at the start when all the spooky stuff was happening. But you know, since Moria got defeated, all the spooky stuff went away. But like, it would be so cool though to see it all of its glory and its spooky glory. It was a good chapter, bittersweet but very good. Oh, that was a hard chapter. Poor Brooke. Honestly, I mean, firstly, we do get Laboon and how they tried to leave him, but he ended up following them. And then we come across Crocus, who agrees to look after Laboon. You know, like that kind of things regarding Laboon from Crocus that we got. But yeah, then we get into them actually going on their adventure during that time when they said, oh, we're just going to be away for 2 or 3 years. We're going to travel the world and we're going to come back to you, Laboon. And they do, you know, travel. And we see Brooke as a skeleton walking through the pirate ship. And you know, we see one moment one of his comrades talking about something and saying, "No, can you teach me that, Brooke?" And then in the next panel, Brooke holding up a skull of that. Oh my god, that's so heart wrenching. This whole thing is heart wrenching. I've got such a heavy mouth talking about it. The captain ends up contracting an infection. I think Little Gordon from the jungle island, they say that the jungle, and that was the sickness that Nami got, but you know, they did end up getting a doctor in time, just piecing 2 and 2 together, that she ended up getting cured at Drum Island. But obviously the captain doesn't make it, and then they enter the Florian Triangle, things like that. Like, just like a sad, sad series of events as we find out what happened to the pirates that promised they would come back to Laboon. Oh, again, this is like another really sad thing in One Piece. It really does humanize and make me sympathize with Brooke. Oh, he's such a good character. And look at Laboon. He's so cute. I need some kind of plushie of Laboon because I just think he's so adorable. I want to squeeze him. Oh, this is really, really trying to get me to crack. Oh, I'm so close. So close. The fact that Brooke has a tone dial and recorded the last ever song that he and his crewmates sang, Binks's Brew, and has that recording in it that he will be able to play the Laboon when he reunites with him. But the fact that everyone in the current day, the Lawless Pirates, the Straw Hats, and they all sing along to it when Brooke plays it in the place that they're at. Oh my god, so beautiful. It's so nice that Brooke, who lost a crew, he had his friends, he had his own Straw Hats, and he lost all of them. And he's now joining the Straw, at least I hope he joins the Straw Hats. And it's like, again, his like second lease on life. And the fact that he stays so positive when he's on the ship by himself, all of his friends are dead. I can't imagine anything worse. I think that's probably the Straw Hats' biggest nightmare, isn't it? It's like their biggest fear is their friends dying, and Brooke had to experience and live that. Oh, it's just so heartbreaking. We even have lyrics to the whole thing. And I love it so much. And I have to give huge props to Oda for the absolute beauty of the paneling, the order of the paneling, how things just sort of beautifully transition, and it is like a beautiful melody. We have his crewmates dying, and he's like, "Oh, Jolly Band is down to a quartet, a trio, a duet, a solo," and he's by himself, and he still manages for years and years to still be positive, to keep the spirit of the Rum Bar Pirates alive, because even they could make crying kids laugh. Oh, God. It's so sad. And he's going to promise to return to Laboon from the right direction, which means I think he's now going to travel the world and come to Laboon in the right direction. You know what I mean? Like, I've just repeated what he just said. But you know what I mean? Oh, it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Brooke's backstory is just wonderful. I mean, heartbreaking, but like wonderfully told. Beautifully told. Order. Oh, God, order. One chapter left. Let's do this. Let's crack on because my arse is actually numb. Right, guys, stop fucking around. What is happening to Ace? As soon as Lola brought out that card, the Viva card, and said that this will help me find my mama, you know, it reminded me of Ace and him giving Luffy the paper. I think it was in alabaster. And I remember that, and there was like nothing written on it, and Nami stitches it into a straw hat and stuff. Guys, I can't. So the paper is now a little bit scorched, and Lola says, I'm sorry, but this person's life, it's on the verge of being snuffed out. Guys, we need to save Ace. Fuck Fishman Island. We need to get Impel Down now. We need to get the Impel Down stat. There's no time to lose. Get him out. Get him out. What? I'm not liking this. I'm not liking this anymore. He's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. Earlier in the chapter, we see Laboon, like, in the present day as well, and he seems in high spirits, because I think he knows in his heart of hearts that Brook is going to come back. He's going to come back and say him. I'm so happy. I'm so happy about that. And the fact that Brook is going to join them as well. He's definitely joining them. He says, can I join your crew? Sure thing. Like, it's a done deal. It's a done deal. Brook is going to join them. And he joined just like that. I'm so glad. He's already fitting in with them. I mean, one, he's got a tragic backstory. So that seems like the biggest requirement to join the Straw Hats. You know, I have a tragic backstory as well. I want to join the Straw Hats. It was nice of Frankie as well to build Brook a memorial in Thriller Bark for the Rumbar Pirates, so that was really nice and really sweet. He also helps repair Brook's ghost ship and gives it to Lola, which is awesome. And even actually a few chapters back, because Lola was the Lola that helped Nami earlier, Nami actually gives her some of her treasure. Like, Nami, that is character development. Actually giving someone her treasure, unheard of. But you know, Nami, she knows what's real. She knows what's true. She knows what she has to do. But yeah, not much else to say about the chapter. I thought it ended really well. So that was Thriller Bark. And you know what? Overall, I really enjoyed it. I really did. I did love the start of it so much because of the atmosphere and because of how spooky and almost Nightmare Before Christmas-esque it felt. I loved that feeling it gave me. And I do think I lost my footing with it a little bit. Maybe about halfway through to, I guess, 3/4 of the way through. And then up until the end. I think from when Kuma arrived to the actual end, I was really loving it again. But I am genuinely so scared for Ace now. He'll be fine. Luffy's gonna save him. I know it. I believe in him. But it's gonna be ages before we get Impel Down. I'm sure there's still like 2 or 3 arcs before that. I can't deal with not knowing. And when I end up like reading some arcs early, I think. But yes, Thriller Bark, actually. I'm looking at my ratings. What would I rate Thriller Bark? I genuinely do not think it's one of my least favourite arcs. Genuinely not. I really super duper enjoyed it. Would I put it on par with Skypiea? This is so odd to me. 7.5 would give it the same rating as Little Garden and just below Skypiea. But I think it's better than Little Garden. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as Drum Island, which I gave 8.5. So maybe an 8. Yeah, I think 8 feels right now. And that might be controversial because, again, I have heard such divisive things about this arc. But there was so much to love about it. The start of it, how spooky it was, Laboon, Brook, nothing happened, the fear of God this is putting me regarding Ace. Just everything is just so wonderful. Like, it was good. Like, honestly, I can't hate it. I can't even remotely dislike it. That's another arc in a whole saga down. I'm so proud of myself. Volume 50. I'm on volume 50. And next is, I'm going to try and pronounce it correctly, Shabondi Archipelago. The Shabondi Archipelago arc. That is how people have said I should pronounce it. So that is how I'm pronouncing it. I know some people said just pronounce it how you feel comfortable. Because I was saying Sabodi Archipelago, but I think it's Shabondi Archipelago. I think that's actually how it's pronounced, I think. But please let me know in the comments if that's wrong. Let me know if it's just people trolling me again, because I never know. I never know these days. I'm so gullible. But that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to leave this video a like if you enjoyed it and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave all your comments down below. Let me know what you thought of the Thriller Box saga. What did you... Oh, hello. Oh, my cats are fine. Let me know what you thought of the video, what you thought of the Thriller Box saga. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know absolutely anything and everything that is possible about the Thriller Box arc. Did you love Laboon coming back? Did you love Brooke's backstory? Did this also make you scared for Ace? Let me know everything. Well, apart from spoilers, of course. I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons and my brand new One Piece channel members as well. If you would like to join my One Piece dedicated channel membership or my Patreon, I do have both linked down in the description box. Or you can go on my channel page, click the join button and eat the Gav Gav fruit. No pressure, of course. It's just there if you wanna. But yeah, that's it. And I hope I will see you in the next video. Bye.